Dave here. How are you? Welcome to a wet morning for the show. Over here during the week, I have created the posts for swinging one of the gates off, and it's got a couple of balusters in it. And on this side, I've put another kind of a half width post, half thickness post for the other gate to swing off. Now, during the show, you will see I create a template for the top, which is going to be a nice kind of rounded shape on the top, and the bottom, instead of being just a dead level base on the gate, we're going to make it parallel to the fall that's there already. It would have looked a bit silly otherwise. Anyway, inside I'll show you what we've been up to. Come through. I had made some domino material because I didn't have any domino 12 mil. That was easy enough to make out of some decking. And this is where we'll be doing stuff today. Making templates. See you soon.
Dave here, how are you? Dave here, how are you? Today is the 2nd of April, unless of course you're in somewhere behind us in the timeline, and then it's April Fool's Day for the rest of you. So I hope you're all well, and good morning to everyone here on the chat. If you want to join the chat, you have to be a subscriber to the channel, and I encourage you to do that. I hope you enjoyed the video I just recently released, which was on creating the wooden hinge for the blanket box. And whilst we're talking about that, I'll show you a picture of the box completed and in my bedroom, and doesn't look too bad. I was pretty happy with the result. What do you reckon? It's bloody comfortable. It's got 2 big blankets in there all ready for winter when it hits. So we're in, AV is good on your side of the street. Excellent, thanks Carl. So we've got winter just around the corner basically. It's raining here today, and as you would have seen in the little prelude, it's cold outside. Anyway, enough of all of that. Today on this show, we're going to get stuck into creating some templates. Now, that's why I've got this sitting on my bench here. This is a bit of 3mm thick MDF, and this is what I will create the template. I'm going to create 2 templates, one for the bottom of the gate and one for the top of the gate. Now you'll see I've tried to create top of the gate in a similar style to the Lutyens bench that I built on the show around about 10 months ago. I'm looking for a switch there. I'm trying to do a transition from the garden through to the side of this building that I'm in at the moment. You saw on the prelude, I was outside the garage and I walked through the garage, and out the back of the garage is where my workshop is. Back of the garage right there. So, morning, John. Morning, John Lafferty. How are you? And Ron and everyone else. G'day. All right. Now, the design that I've done, I think I've got a picture there somewhere. Plan of the gate. That's basically how the top is going to be. The side panel is a little bit taller now because when I put a profile over, and I'll show you a picture of the profile. Where are we? This one here. I set up a profile outside, and I'm in line with the bottom of the weatherboards on the building. So I'm not all the way down to the concrete that the building's sitting on. And I thought it'd be nice to have, it's basically 90mm, which is, 3.5 inches odd above the concrete to the weatherboard there, to the bottom of the weatherboard. And I thought that'd be a good starting point for the height of the bottom of the gate. But you can see how high it would have been on the right-hand side. And whilst a wallaby couldn't get under there, if I did want to try and keep the dogs out the back there for any reason, they would just scamper under there without a problem. So I decided now that I'm going to build the bottom of the gates. So there's 2 gates that I've got to do to make one large one, 2 leaves of the gate. And it will be 90 to 95 millimeters above the concrete all the way over to the right-hand side. I think it's going to work a little bit better. Come back up to here. So any thoughts? Do you think that because the bottom of the gate has got a slope on it, it's going to look weird? The only consideration I had was on the gate on the high side, because the bottom, of course, now is facing down, and as it swings around and I've got the fall on the path, it may have bumped. But as luck would have it, there is also a fall from the front of the building where the garage door is back down the far end, and so it tapers off that way as well. So as it swings around, I will have clearance. The other side, because it's kind of tall, as it swings back, it's going to be up around about that high off the ground when it's in the fully open position. So when they both swing around, they'll both be marrying in to being perfect, I hope. Anyway, so that's the plan. Now, when I got into it, you'll see that this is what it all looked like, and I had old solar panels behind pot plants and anything, a barricade that I could make to get rid of the wallabies coming in. The wallabies came in and were eating my prunus trees, and that was not good. The next thing we've got is this. Now that is where the side that I've got the posts in the ground and the agapanthus, and I thought, not a problem, I'll just cut the agapanthus back and get the post hole shovel and go down and see what I can find till I get some solid ground. Well, this is part of the root ball from the agapanthus. It is huge. If you ever feel sorry for an agapanthus on a dry day, don't, because their roots go to the middle of the earth. So then we had to dig a hole, and I did, and I had to actually pull all those retaining wall blocks out to be able to get down far enough to get to solid ground. Now the next thing to do was to set the profiles up, as I've already showed you there. I had a couple of old posts set down and some clamps and things just holding it up straight. And then I had to pour some blue metal at the bottom of the hole. Now the blue metal is there to act as drainage so that we don't have the bottom of the posts sitting in a puddle at all under the concrete. So that's what that's for. And I did try to get a hold of some geofabric mesh, and they wouldn't sell me any that's the right, they wanted to sell me a whole roll. I thought, I'm not buying a whole roll. I will just get and make do with the bag of the concrete bag, the bag that the concrete mix came in. So I got about 15 of these bags, and I needed them. Anyway, did it all. There we go. I've got the post there, and you would have seen at the beginning of the show, I don't think I've got a picture of the actual side there at the moment, like the two posts on the side, but you would have seen them on the video as you were coming into the show. One of the things I had to do was I had to make some domino stick, and I did that. It's pretty easy. It's 19mm Merbau decking, and I got 3 pieces out of a 90mm wide section of decking, and thicknessed it down on the thickness planer down to 12, obviously. And then I ripped it to the right width, and I checked that it would be the right width by actually putting it into a domino hole that I'd created. I think did a little post during the week with the 700. And then I set a 1/4-inch roundover cutter in the router table with the fence, and also I set the cutter up ever so slightly above the bottom, so it left a little groove either side. And that was there on purpose. I don't know if you can see the groove. I'll bring it up closer, you might be able to see it. See that there? That little lip is a glue groove. So for people that aren't familiar with using dowels or domino stick or whatever, if you put glue in the bottom of a hole and it's a tight fit for the dowel and you drive it in, very, very good chance of splitting the timber and the glue oozing out the edge. You must give the glue an area to escape, and also at the same time encourage it to come up around the dowel or the domino stick so that it's coating all the way up, joint much stronger. That's what it's all about, is trying to get glue contact with this on long grain, not end grain so much, the long grain, the side grain, whatever you want to call it. And there you go. It works really well. So it's nice and strong. There's 3 of these. I don't know why. It's not going anywhere. We could have an atomic blast next door and my gates are going to stay upright. All right, I'm going to have a quick read down the side here. Steve, Mike, Bob, Wayne, Carl, Mark, John, John, morning, Dave, Vic, morning, evening from Oklahoma. The more the merrier. I'm glad you're dropping in and watch the show. Now, what we're going to do, as I said, I've done enough waffling, but I wanted to let people know the background of what I've done prior to jumping into this next stage. The bottom rail is going to be milled, or I'm going to make the bottom rail out of 138 millimeter by 30 millimeter. So that will be, when I get this piece of paper, this here that I've got drawn up. Okay, so the 138 at the bottom. And I've got my dimensions between the posts and the post on the side of the house. It was very, oh, hi baby. It was very important that I get those posts in. It's like building a door and then creating a door jamb to fit the door. It's a whole lot easier if you create the door jamb and then shape the door to fit into it. Now, I know you can buy a pre-made door, all that kind of stuff, but most people will end up planing a bit off here and there to fit it. So I wanted to make sure that I had that post in the right spot. I have an accurate measurement. It's 1.9 meters exactly. Well, it's actually, tell lies, 1902 and 1900. There's 2 millimeters out somewhere. I don't know. But anyway, it's pretty good. And so what I've done, I'll bring you over to CalCam, I think might be the next best thing. There we go. Back this way. Maybe, no, that way's going to be fine. I'll get a pencil so I can point at things. So I have 1900 from side to side. These stiles for the gates are 90 millimeters wide. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. Half the width of 1900 is 950. So the gates have to be 950 each. I'm going to make it so that it's a nice tight fit and I can plane a little bit off the sides if I need, just to give me a bit of wiggle room to fit them. Okay, so everyone's feeling sorry for Vicky. Good on you. It's my show. It's not hers. Okay, so here we go. We've got that 950 between. I'm going to cut it so it's a tight fit, as I said, and I'll trim them in to fit. We also have the height of, I'm going to work off one level line and come down from it. So what we're going to do is the height of the gate at the end, this is on the garden side, is 1150. This is allowing for 90 millimeters clearance underneath. So that, remember we had the weatherboards finishing here. I've got a post here, and then I've got the concrete slab here down to the path. And so we've got 90 millimeters here. All right, and that's going to be traveling right across. So 950, 1150 and 980, add it together and divide it by 2 gives me 1065. This is where metric is so good. So 1065 is going to be my height from there to there. So 1065 from 1150 is going to give me the height from here to here. I'll get my phone, because it's an important measurement. I could probably do it mentally, but I may stuff up. All right, back to there, we've got the calculator. So I have 1150 this way up, David, minus 1065 is 85 millimeters. So I've got to go up 85 millimeters from a level line here. That's fine, over 950. That's the fall. I'm going to work that out now to double it. Equals 170 plus 980 is 1150. That's my measurement there. So I've just done a double check at the end to make sure that 85 is correct. All right, so we have 85, and we'll get a tape, which I have here. And I might go to the larger Carl cam. This one. Bit of an angle there. Where's my adjusting stick? Here it is. Done. Close enough. All right. So now I've got to be careful. I've got to make sure that I include this, that I don't just work in that area there. So I'm going to come in 950, so I'm going to come in 90. One mark there. 950 overall, here. Come back 90, here. So there's my two styles for the gate, and then going between there and there, the gate is going to be around 770 odd. Next thing to do is to measure up at this point, and that is 85 millimeters. Back here. All right, time to get a square. And possibly even a sharper pencil. So a square along there. All right, that's the overall width of the gate. One half of the gate is that width. Now I need to create a line from here down to there. Yes, very important. And I will use the other sheet of MDF that I have here for the top. And I'll go from 0 there up to there. And that is the bottom of that run. Next thing, the square again. We'll go up this side. And over here. This side. All right. Bottom rail. So I have my angles already worked out, and this is the distance in between. I'm going to do a double check. This might seem obvious, but it's very important to just get it right. Yeah, 771, 770 I think it is, perfect. Yep, that's slightly longer, it doesn't worry me. It's 952, it's just the thickness of the pencil. All right, now I need to come up 138 millimeters. And I think rather than muck around, I'll get the actual piece of wood and bring it back down. So this is the thickness of the bottom rail. Perfect. There we have it. All right. So what's going to happen is I will cut this out, and then I'll use this twice. Remember the other week we had the when I was doing the legs for the blanket box. I'll come up to this one because it might be easier. When I was doing the legs for the blanket box and I made the templates for that, Carl made comment as well, you know, you only really need one end of the template. Well, rather than do two of these, I'm going to make one of these and that'll be that. So we can do this one in a minute. I'm not going to cut it out yet, but you can see this is going to be the template. This area that I hatch. That's the bottom rail right there. Easy. For the price of a little bit of MDF, it's not a lot, I have that. And Zoe sign swinging all over the place. It's very important when you do it that you don't catch yourself up. What I could have had a bit of a mental mind blow there and had 85 millimeters at this point, where it's got to be over here. Little things like this on a template save you so much grief and stop you ruining your good timber, which is expensive. Okay, so that's that part. I'll put that to the side. Next thing we're going to do is work on the top rail. This is the sexy one. Same kind of thing. I've got another piece of MDF here. And it's not all going to be wasted. I'll use other little bits of this MDF in other parts. Same thing. We're going to go to the same width. I'm going to sharpen this pencil because otherwise we're going to get stuck with the width of the pencil lines growing all the time, and that's not good. Done. It's a great pencil sharpener. It gives you a super fine sharp point straight away and stop sharpening. Okay, John, thanks. Not fun, but not as bad as thought it would be. I'll be fine. See you all next week. John, what's the matter? All right. Sorry to hear that, John. Okay, now we're going to do the same width and everything, and then I'll get hooked into the top. So the same width is with the same tape. Not that crucial on a garden gate that's this wide, but anyway. I come across 950, make sure I'm not actually touching the bench, hang the piece out over the edge. 950. Do a square line straight away. There, and we've got same kind of thing. We're going to do the 90 mil for the stiles on both sides. 60 should be 90. We'll just do a quick check. Yes, that's 90. Lovely. Daylight saving. It's daylight saving, not daylight savings. Savings are what you put in the bank. Daylight saving is one, not plural. Just a time shift, one. I smile when I see people make comment, oh, we're going to be doing such and such to celebrate daylight savings. Ah, irks me. Do you have anything that people say or write that gets up your nose? I'm sure I'm not the only person that gets annoyed about things like apostrophes in the wrong spot as well. Never used to worry me too much, but my sister is big time on grammatical correctness. And so you could have it's, or its. I think there's all different ways of where you put the apostrophe or don't have an apostrophe. Possession, plural. Anyway, that's by the by. Okay, now we have this one is going to be level but we want to ride up from one end and create this sexy curve. And I'm going to show you how we do that as well in a minute. All right, so we want to come up 138. I'll go to the overhead and I'll explain it a little bit better. This one is a little bit more fun. Bring that back to there. I don't know how sharp this is. Anyway, we have a level line. Again, always crucial to have your springy line. So there and there, basically. This is 138 wide, which is the width of the piece of wood going here off to the garden, to the other part of the post, from there across. And that, so this is the post that's out there already. And then this is our stile, which we've just drawn over there. I tried to get it in the picture, but I couldn't. And so we've got 950 from here to here, from there to there. There's 950. It's exactly the same as the bottom. So I'm just reading down the side here for what people are saying about, oh, sorry, on the side, about what bugs them. Okay, so we want to draw a line 138 up from the bottom here. So I'll do that right now. Where's my tape? Pierre's only just woken up. He's trying to find me. I hear him barking outside. 138 and 138 over here. Right. And we may use our other piece of MDF because MDF is, well, these ones are very straight. So it's a good straight edge. 138 there and there. Done. You can see the line there. I'll take us out from being close up to this one. And again, transition. There we go. All right. There, and there. Fifth, and fifth of 5, fifth, and fifth. Spelling that one has always got me stuffed. Hey, John, how are you, buddy? So, what do we got? I'm just watching the microphone as well. They were flat this morning, so I'm hoping they're going to keep going. Now, we need to come up 200 above this line, 200 millimeters above that line, because we need to go to the top. I'll turn it around this way. There you go. Can you see why? Because we've got a 200 millimeter lift, and we're going to be working back down from that. So 200 is 338 above the baseline. 338 there, and 338 over here, which is 200, as I said, to there. All right, I'm going to do another level line across there. Well, another straight line, should I say. There we go. Lovely. And we're going to come down 138 from there. 138 is the same as 238 down to 100, which is right there. Cool. And I'm going to do it over here as well. Don't ask me why, it's just that I think it might look nice. 138. Oh, I'm going to put another line there, as I said. Done. Okay. Now, our shape is going to do this thing here. So I'm going to do a random kind of a shape like that. That's kind of how it's going to go. Now, I think that looks terrible, freehand, but I've got a way, I think, of making this form look really good. I'm going to measure half the width that it's going to be traveling, and half of 950 is 450, 475, which is here. And that'll be our transition point for the middle of the curve. From there to there, but where should we do it? Should we do it from there? So halfway between here and here is my transition point. So I need 100 there. That's it there. Beautiful. Okay, now you might wonder why I've done that. And I'll tell you why. Because we're going to create some arcs. One. And why is that, David? Why is that? 200. That should be right. Oh, it's to there, of course. See, I caught myself out. I went to the inside. I went to the inside of the style. I should have been to the outside. I was thinking, why isn't that a continual line? What have I done? That's, again, this is why it's so important to do this kind of stuff. There. Beautiful. All right. So that is my transition. From there, and then from here to there, won't be. It's got to be at right angles to that. There, from there to there, and a right angle to there. Now, I come down here 138. I'm pretty sure. Again, I'll do 238 and go to 100. Here. Oh, I'm happy. I'm happy. All right, Jason, use of acronyms, yes. Dave, did you not make a template for the bench? I did. I've got them over there. Do you want to see it like this? These things I've got lying around. Let me see if I can find it for you, Carl. When I built the Lutyens bench, and I can do another one. Seat, front leg, see it all shaped and with the domino positions, and the top rail for the back of the bench. That way up is the top. They were so much fun. These, you keep your templates if you can, guys, because you never know when you're going to come around and want to do it again. And why throw them away? Why throw them away? Quick drink. Actually, I'm going to switch the cameras around. Cameras, cameras, cameras. This one. So you might look at this and go, looks terrible. But I'll show you what we're going to do next. We're going to come over to this camera, over to the big bench. I've got another camera over there. And I'm going to use a dog and a string line and a pencil. And it all makes sense. Where are we? Camera 4. That bad boy. Okay. Bring this one over here. I'm going to turn it sideways. Like that. Let me see if I can raise this up a little higher so you can see what I'm doing. All right. Now I have my coffee. Only 57 watching. I thought more people would be interested in this project. Not to worry. What I have here is my starting point for the curve and my finishing point for the top part of the curve. So I want to utilize one of these dog holes down here and a string line to create this arc. And I'm going to shorten it down using the same point of origin from here to here. And that will give me a parallel curve. And you can guess the rest. You can guess everything else that I'm going to be doing. And let's get a dog. Let's pop it in down here somewhere. And I'll loop this and put it around there for it to follow. And I'm going to pull the string line out way past what it needs to be. And I'm making sure that this isn't going to move. Once I get the position that I want, that's bloody good first off, David. I can't go up above. It has to go below. So I'm going to increase the length of the arc without it coming above that line. It's going above again. See, I've got to do this. That line might have to come out. Maybe if I just line up with this line there, then everything's going to be decreasing from it. Yes, that's better. But I need to rotate it until I get to there. What's that going to do? Bring it in a little. There. There. Bring it across maybe, that might work. This is all guesswork at the moment. I'm sure there's a way of doing this that it's going to be absolutely perfect. It has to fall away from that line. It can't be coming above it. So if it's coming down there, I got to then have a look at my arc as to whether it needs to be taller, whether I've got to go way out here. That's getting better. So it really does have to come from there, that line. Going out further on that line. It's getting closer. I hope I've got enough bench left. That's why I'm doing it on the larger bench, not on the smaller one. And turn. Oh, that's my arc. That's the arc I need. Can you see all of that? Okay, I'm going to move the camera a little bit so you can see better as to what's happening. Back to here. It's just such a large arc. All right, I'm going to have a quick read off the court. Yes, hey Chris, how are you? All right, now I'm going to simply, I'm going to lock this down while it's there. I don't want it to move at all. It can't move. And the other side. If it moves, it's going to stuff it all up. It's got to stay still. Done. Okay, beautiful. All right. Now, all I'm going to do is wrap this around there. This is basically a dirty big compass. Come down lower if I can. Like that. Then I'm going to come in closer. because I want to maintain that 138 or very close to it thickness. I'm hoping it's going to work. Oh, I'm so happy. So happy. Now, I'm going to leave that on there. This is a dodgy way of doing it, I'm sure, but I've got to undo this now. I want to create a reverse arc to come down to here, to there, I should say, from there to there. So I really do try and, I'm going to have to move these off because I'm going to have to put this up here to do this part. And the last thing I need to do, well, I'll do that right away, is check that it's all going to be able to be within this piece of timber that I got. And it is. I'm happy. I'm happy. Let's put this down here. How are we doing for time? 22. That's fine. All right. Release and release. I've got those two done. Now I'm going to spin it around like that. And I want to follow this line this time. I've got to follow that line and run my arc from here to there. So I need to come in a little closer. I've got this string line still at the same distance. It's going to help me get out. This is to the lower section. That's 138 there. So it's going to be about there. And that's going to come in just a touch. There and there. I think that's it. I hope so. All right. Lock it down. And the other side. This is kind of half scientific and half not. I can't hold it there. Can't hold it there. I've got to hold it. I'll hold it here. I can't hold it there either. I'm going to have to hold it over there. That's fine. Fine. It's not going to go anywhere. Just as long as I've got 2 points. I can't hold it there because I'm going to interfere with the string. But I can hold it here and here. This is so much fun. All right, so I go from here to there. Oop, no, that's no good. That's a rotten one. That's better. Again, I missed. Oh, I've stuffed that totally. You know what I'm going to do? If I have an eraser here, I'll clean that off because I don't want to get stuck. I was just rushing things. Because I don't want to be halfway through cutting and go, which line was it? Okay, 100. I might be better if I come over to the other side because I'll be closer to it. Okay, there. Move that over there. So I may have my back to you a little bit. I've just got to keep that down there a little better. I didn't have enough tension on. And it moved again while I was just doing that. Tangled it up. It's there to there. No, It's not doing it. There's a little bit of play in that string. It's going to have to do, and then out to the other one. A little bit more. Nope, no good. That'll do me. Actually, I don't like that curve. I'm going to have to do a little bit of freehand when I get to that stage. Oh, that's a bit dodgy. I think it's going to be okay. What I'm going to do, I'll come back so you can see what's happening with the camera when I'm talking. It hasn't gone perfectly for me. There's been too much stretch in the string line. So it's given me a damn good start. So I will cut that out. And it will get me, and then I can just shape it with the belt and disc sand. I'll just clean it up. And we'll do that now. I'm going to cut this out whilst we're here. Yeah, I need to rub that inside line out so I don't get caught. That's a whole lot better. I think it's going to be nice. All right, let's cut it. Let's cut it out. I'm going to do it with the jigsaw straight away, and then I think I might clean it up with the bandsaw. But I've got to cut this, then I've got to cut that. Actually, cutting the ends first is what I've got to do. Yeah. I'm going to cut these first because then I can do that square off this before I absolutely go stupid with the jigsaw and move it all over the place. So it's crucial that I get these square ends because I have to cut the area off where the stiles are. You might think, well, why didn't you just start this curve right back here and pretend that the stile is here? Too much chance for me to create an error. And so I just think it's an idea to do it without rushing it and do the extra steps if you have to. So I will cut these off with the track saw. Where are we? I'll use this one. I'll put the GRS16 PE on it. Where were we before these things came along? These are fantastic. I could have just docked it off there. I'm just going to do it off the side. Or is that going to be a problem? No, I'll take that out, move it around, pop that down there for the moment, bring this down to the end, like so, get the track saw out. I'm hoping the sound is still running through okay. Yes, it is. Good. Okay, I'm going to have a quick read. Workshop, nothing put in it. Carl, you sold your stuff. John, could you put a nail at each point and then one in the middle of the two, then take a thin strip of wood and bend it to the curve? I could have. Chris, working on how long and how wide. It's around 900 millimeters wide and around 2.2 or something long. I've drawn plans for this, or John Lafferty's drawn plans for me for this. But it got to the stage where there's still a couple of tweaks I wanted to do on the plans, and I'll put them on the internet. So if anyone wants to get them, they can. But it's... and I want to do a video of actually building the thing as well. But it's just one of those things. One of those things. Too many things to happen and not enough days in the week. All right, again, a little noise. Put that down, move this along. That's awful tight there. I'm a little far away from the Dusty. It was pulling on the hose. Right, and the other end. Yes. I'm going to bring it over just a touch. Want to check I've got the length still. $860, of course I've got to take that one off, haven't I? So from there to there is 770. So I've got to cut it off there. And then here. So that's okay. Do that now. I keep on saying it's just so important you don't stuff yourself up. If you're going to make a mistake, do it on the template, not on the job. Cool. Okay, so that's the area that I'm going to be cutting. So I'm going to cut this off as well so I don't get caught with too much all over the place if I'm going to use the bandsaw. I may just go straight onto the bandsaw with this. We'll see if I've got enough room. That's looking good. Okay, that's what I'm after. So I'll do these on the small bandsaw right now. I'll move this over here. And in 5 minutes time, when the show is finished, we should have a template that is pretty well right if I can find the mouse. Okay, it's not under there. Not there. There, it's got to be somewhere over here, like this one. Let's go back to Patreon cam. All right, Chris, okay, all right. So you guys are talking about Chris's world travels. I'll move this out of the way. wheel the bandsaw out. Plug her in. And it has got a dust extraction point, but I'm going to, I think I'll spin around the other way so you can watch a bit better from there. And back, and that'll turn the wheels around, then I can lock them again. Put things on mobile bases, it just makes life so easy. Go to the other camera. I will put a dust mask on for this. I'm not going to connect the dust extractor onto it. MDF is nasty stuff. Doesn't hurt to do this. All right, use them. Okay, to camera 4. There we go. Let's see if I can ruin this or whether it's going to be okay. About there. Get rid of the fence. Why is that moving around, David? Got to give those a quick tighten. Okay. Two of the bolts holding the table on are loose. But that's better there. Another job to do. So there's the shape, and I'll clean it up on the sander right now. Bring it back just a little. So plug this into the Dusty. Okay, so that one should activate that, which should activate everything down the end. Let's see what happens. Yep, good. Done. Done. And I'm happy with that. So, looking at it like so is how it's going to arch up both sides. And if I turn it over, you'll see that's the other side. And that's going to be a nice shape on the gate. Alrighty. So during the week, what I'll do is I'll cut the pieces up ready. And then maybe what we'll do is have a bit of a look. Actually, I'll actually cut some of the pieces and use the template on them and I might leave one of the pieces to show you how I'm going to use a pattern follower on the router. Maybe I might even do it on the router table, I'm not sure. Probably on the router table for this thickness, because it's 30 mil, it's a fair size. And create these tops. And then we will create the domino joins as well, and maybe even dry assemble. How does that sound? So that's what I think we'll do next week. All right, having a quick look down. Hey, Dave's gotten back to you about the drone for under 500. I have got a friend who is giving me a drone. Can you believe it? She bought it for her husband about 5 years ago. He took it for a flight, it ran into another person's caravan, and he threw it in the cupboard. Never wants to see it again. It scared the stuffing out of him. So I will go with that. The first reason is because my home is 2 stories, and it's close to the boundary on one side, and I want to be able to check the gutters before climbing up to empty the gutters. We've got a lot of pine trees and things around here. So I want to be able to fly a drone over the top of the gutters just to see what's in there. And if I've got one for free, that's great. I also want to I'm going to do a video on my solar panel setup that I have here on the property to share with you guys if you're interested to see how I went about things and the layout and why I've done everything the way that I have. And if I can have some aerial footage for that, that would be really, really nice. It would help a lot. And also just for the hell of it, to play with. But I wanted to have a minimum of around 1080, so full HD. This drone that I'm getting is a 720p, so it's high def, not full HD, and it's not 4K. But it's free. So why not? Why not go with that? And I will learn to fly the thing. And if I decide that I want to upgrade after that, well then I will. I'll go out and get something else. But for the moment, thank you very much to the people that have helped me out. Okay, so you all came back to Queensland time. Let me have a look. Thanks, Dave. Enjoy the show as always. See you all next week. Thanks, Dave. Sounds like fun. He does. You can see it in the background. I do have the spindle sander, but this thing I find easier sometimes because it's got that flat section of belt, and this bobbin sander or spindle sander, I've got 2 of them. I've got that one there, and I've got the little Triton one that I've been playing with. For on a long rake like that, I find that using the belt and the nose on that one is easier and just gives me a nicer finish. It's more I don't get the dents if I dwell at all, and if the line hasn't been drawn perfect. This can help me shape it. And if I've been crap on the bandsaw also, that can help a lot. Anyway, we're going to have the Patreon meeting in a minute. Thank you again for everyone for dropping in and hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed the video on the hinge that I did. If you've seen that and you think you know someone else that might be interested in, please share the video. I'm trying to get as many people watching so that I can help as many people, and also I want to get over that 100,000 subscriber magic point. It's just a line in the sand, but you know what? I like a challenge. So if you can help me out that way, that'd be fantastic. Look after yourselves, be nice to each other, and I shall see you all next week. Bye.